on that outline or that edge
I'll
that
be
I
fine
said
away.
not to,
That's
I'm gonna
cool.
get an
Okay.
error here, and it's gonna show me, where
Yeah,
my
but
issue
you
is.
did not close the loop, so yeah, I think you gotta close the loop.
That's what I did.
Uh,
Dude, I went over the wedge.
So I'm gonna
No,
go
so
back
when
to
you
my upper
start
and
from
show
one
you
point,
what this
you gotta
error
connect
looks
the
like.
That's what I did.
So I'm just
Oh,
gonna
okay.
place this out here.
So that's why I didn't create that.
So when I hit next here,
And then click next after you've done that. And
Yeah.
I'm most likely gonna get an error on that spot that I pulled forward, and I'll show you what it is and why it happens. Wow, that's a first. That should get it to me.
I think it needs to be a less transformed zone happening between 25.
It doesn't want to give it to me, which is a first, because usually all it wants to do is give you errors. So I'll see if I can get it to do it on the lower. I'm not sure why it's not doing it here. We'll look at this on the case this afternoon too. I know on that one how to reproduce it pretty easily. I've actually not tried it on here lately, so it could be fixed. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my lower order real quick.
are you gonna do it?
Thank you.
You know, so if you right click that, right click on the blue dot, see a fast edit line, you can just keep drawing it.
As long as I just want to go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's say if you don't like something, you just drag it. Yeah, click. Yeah, like that. You don't have to move the points, individual points. Yeah, just keep drawing it the way you want. You know. Yep, like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
Does anyone need more time with their outlines?
This is sort of show direction.
Is everyone good? Need more time on the outlines? The Dells may have a touch.
I was just saying how it's done. So it's off.
All right. So once you have your outline, go ahead and go next, and then we're at the survey and blockout stuff. Is everyone here? Okay. So this step can be a very difficult step to explain to people. So I like to explain it in a way that is relatable for analog denture techs. So we're all familiar with a survey table, right? Everybody knows what a survey table is and what it's for, right? That's what this step is for. So when you look at this, think of this is our model, and it's sitting on an invisible survey table, okay? This arrow right here is our needle from the survey table. So I know now, just by the way it's set right now, if I took that needle and I touched around this, that I would have a massive undercut in that anterior. So see that color? That's what it's showing me, is where my undercut is based on the way that my survey table is angled. So me, what I would do, because I know that I can get this at a little bit better of an angle, I would take my survey table, loosen the knob, and tilt the anterior up, right? Everybody's with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to look at it from an occlusal view like this. I'm going to hold my right mouse button down, and I'm going to pull my anterior and tilt it back. So it's tilting it up towards me, right? So now I can see a lot of that color that it was showing me before. Now I have to tighten the knob back up and set it, and then I can survey around it, right? So to lock the nut in place, I hit the Set from View button here on the left. So see how the color coding changed? So now if I look around it, see the red arrow here? That's showing me the angle that that needle would come around and touch the outer edges of the model. So yes, I still have some undercut here, but it's nowhere near as extreme as it was. So I would feel comfortable maybe moving forward with this setup rather than where it was default. Now, because this is an immediate denture, I tend to want to block everything out that's in an undercut, just so I'm sure that everything fits passively for the reline step. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab the blockout angle button here, and then that degrees value is a taper from the top of the model down. So it'll taper outward right now at 3 degrees. If I don't want that, I can set that at 0 degrees, and then it'll just be straight up and down. So it's really up to you how passive you want this to fit. I'm going to set mine at 0, and then I'm going to hit the preview button to show you what this looks like. So the preview button is up at the top left, and it'll load for a second, and then it's going to show me blockout wax on here. So I'm going to turn it on. I can see everywhere where it's automatically blocking out. So this is based on that surveyed position. Now, so to the whole point here, we've done everything completely digital. Because remember, we started off with digital impressions, we built digital models, and now we've blocked out those digital models. Well, once I make this denture, I have nothing to try any of these dentures on, right? So here's how you can make your models if you want. So I'm going to open up that additional scans tool again. So now that I've got the additional scans box open, I can see a save button there, right? So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up with this gray box here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to left click on my model. I'm up. There we go. So I can see there that the model shows up there, but it doesn't have the blockout wax on it, right? We can all see that. If I take on my keyboard and hold the control key down and click on the pink now, See how it just added that to that box? Does everyone see what I did? Now, if I hit the Save Model button here, I'm just going to go to save this on the desktop.
The one above. That's right.
I'm going to name it Upper, and this is important. So, if you want to directly print this model out, you have to save it as an STL.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then move the block out.
When you get it, when you get this,
Right there.
Where am I getting
where you get this first? When you put it in-
the additional scans box?
Yeah, and then click the
It's
big.
this blue icon
No,
right
I
here.
get this, but when the model you put it there.
So how did I get both those to show up?
Yes.
Alright, so
And then
first thing what I did was I took my mouse and I left clicked on
So whatever you
the,
want to click additional,
scan.
you do the control and click 5, 6,
then
7.
I held the control key down on the keyboard and I clicked on the pink. And then that adds them both into the box. So now when I save the model, I'm going to save it as an STL. I'll just save it on my desktop to show, and I'm going to put Upper as my name, and then I'm going to hit the Save button. So now I'm just going to minimize my stuff. Just you guys don't have to do this. I'm just going to show you. So here's that save file right here. It's an STL. When I double click and open it, it's got the blockout and the model saved as one file. So now I can take this to my 3D printer. Now, one of the questions I get asked is, well, what about this flange it puts around the edges? So with the Asiga software, you can position something on the platform, and then you can pull it down through the platform, and anything that's under the platform just gets cut off. So all you have to do is drag this down and put it flat on the base area, and then it will cut all that excess off that you don't need. So you get a blocked out model that you can print. Does anyone have any questions on that?
What if we're unable to save the model?
These laptops are probably not going to be able to save them because they're save limited. You have to have the full license to do this, which back at your labs you would have that.
I do have a
How did you get the
question
blue thing? From here.
Because before blocking out,
Oh,
it wasn't
the
showing.
pink thing you mean?
And you remember the block out?
It won't
Yeah,
show
that's the
it
blocking
until you
out
get
box.
to the survey blockout step.
But even after the.
You see that model he has over there?
Uh-huh.
You see the way it looks?
Mhm.
It doesn't look like mine.
Yeah,
So-
you'll have this
Look
grid
at that.
over
That's
here
fit.
on the right.
That's
Yeah.
stage.
I'm not
Right.
seeing any
Depending upon how much you block out.
So down
Right there.
here at the lower left, you'll see this
So you
multicolored
see the
border.
block out thing or what?
Yeah, once you
Turn that off,
glow next,
and then your
you can see
models
all the
will either
blackout
go a
colors.
beige color or a gray color. And then you should see all the blockout coloring on that model.
So next,
Does everybody
right?
see that?
From there next.
Well, if you want to trim, like if you want to take down any block out wax, then you can do that.
If not, go
If not,
next.
then go next. Yeah. Same thing for the lower.
Does anyone have any questions about saving that? Do you want me to show again?
Yes, because we
Again?
don't have the option here to do this.
Okay. So, in order to do this, so I'm going to close out of that additional scans box and start from here. So I've set my path, I've got my model the way I want it, but now I want to save it. So I'm going to come over here on the right-hand toolbar. There's a button here called Additional Scans. So we're going to open that. So you can drag this box around if your undercut depth is hiding it. And when I go in here, it'll start off typically in the load step. You just click the Save button here. And typically you won't see anything here when you're doing this for the first time. So what I need to do is I need to click on my scan. So now I can see my scan in there. If I hold, does everybody know what the control key is on the keyboard? It's the CTRL key, lower left of your keyboard. You hold that down and then left click on the pink. You'll see it adds the pink to the scan. Is everybody clear on that?
It doesn't come on this computer, right? What do you
It
get?
just won't let you save it.
Not saying that this model does not come.
Oh,
You gotta click preview.
Wait,
No, this is the other one. This is the low model.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you go to wax trimming and it'll show up.
Left click. There's your pick. And then you just hit the save model.
Oh, that's just like,
Yep, so once you get both in the box there, then you're gonna hit the save model button here at the lower left of this box. And this is the key, this is probably what you guys aren't able to do with these. So, naming it, you can name it whatever you want. You can name it upper with blockout, you can name it upper model, it doesn't matter what you name it. The key is making sure the save as type box, you drop that down, and you select STL. STL is the only printable format that you'll be able to import it into the Asiga software. So it has to be an STL. Once you save it, it'll combine the pink wax and the model together and give you one file that you can take into the printer. So it'll all be blocked out and the denture should fit really intimately with your model. That-
In this stage, we can print the model to see the
Yep.
dimensions.
Yep, and you could go ahead right now and go over, start the print, and continue on with your design, if you wanted to.
yeah, so the purpose of just showing us is if we want to take this model and put it in a print.
So to
Yeah,
fit,
like a
to
fit
check
check.
your bite and articulate. But how do you articulate it? How do you mount the models and articulate them if you did the whole thing virtual?
Does anyone have any questions about that?
Yeah, if you're gonna print the models, how do you articulate them if you did everything virtually?
With the dentures.
Yeah, but-
Put the dentures together on the models and mount it.
But then you're assuming, then what's the purpose of mounting it?
Well, I mean, some doctors want to see everything on an articulate. Even some lab technicians want to make sure.
But I'm saying, if you mount them from what you just did digitally, and you're not going back to any anatomical reference, then all you're doing is just duplicating what you did on the computer, and you can't grind a case in that way.
Why would it be any different though? Because you designed it based off of this.
Right, so what's the purpose of mounting it? Just to be able to mount it?
It's the same purpose as getting a digital impression, designing a crown, and then making a fit check model for it. What's the purpose? There really
No,
is not.
that's different, because you have a centric and an occlusion on a crown. You don't have any of that here.
I mean, so you're,
I'm just saying that you're not,
yeah, but here you're not designing anything out of occlusion. The upper and lower denture are in occlusion.
no, I
together
understand that. So you're
based-
just mounting them to what you
Yeah.
designed, but you're not gaining, you're not, there's nothing to grind in, there's nothing to adjust, because,
Yeah, I mean,
so you're just doing it so you can send it back as a mounted case.
yeah, but I mean, okay, so let's say I took the scans into Model Builder, set those pins on there, printed the models out and mounted them there, how would it be any different?
Well, no, that would be different, yes. Because now you're keeping the
We have no
centric
pins, yeah.
and the relationship with the pins. Can you,
Yeah,
you
but-
you have your upper and lower relationships stay, if you save each of those separately, can you mount those with pins?
Yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't be any different than using the dentures. Because the dentures are in occlusion in the design, how would they be any different outside of the production? Okay, so let's look at the pins, if you wanna go that. Your pins are gonna be this tall, so who's saying that they didn't work this way or this way in the printing process? So how would that be any better? You know what I mean? I mean, it's
So
the same.
basically, what you're doing is you're giving the ability for the dentist to mount the cases after he takes a bite in the mouth.
Yeah, I mean, you could,
I just don't like to do things that don't give a benefit.
yeah, I mean, even in Crown and Bridge, I mean, there's really, the only purpose to having a fit check model is if you're gonna add any porcelain to it. It's better to do it without, because the problem with printing a fit check model is when we typically fit check to stone casts, they're expanded. So they're bigger. So when we go and we adjust the context on a non-expanded model, then we have no contact in the mouth. Because we've adjusted our settings to have expansion, printed models have no expansion. So it would be counterproductive to print a model for a crown unless you're adding porcelain.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I know this from experience. I've done tons of modelless crowns that have all gone in just fine without models. So they're really, printing models for things is nothing more than comfort for either the lab technician or the doctor. That's all it is.
That's where I'm.
And it doesn't matter what kind of restoration it is. It's always just comfort.
Okay,
That's the point.
we're in agreement.
It's some extra
Alright.
stuff.
What?
It's some extra stuff, like you say.
All right, we can go ahead and break for lunch.
Yeah, so we went ahead and everybody, if you want to use restrooms, wash up, do whatever you need. We do have a taco bar that is set up. We're going to start